as we close this course on marketing and recruiting for today's digital customer, I want to share with you a couple stories that I think you're going to find are pretty powerful, certainly have some significant lessons for you. And one starts with a company called Yale Appliance. And you can see their CEO on the screen now. His name is Steve Scheinkopf. And Steve owns an appliance retailer in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, once again, apply the principle. I know this isn't your industry, but this is incredibly powerful. And if you apply what Steve did, you're going to get amazing, amazing results. Now, Steve wasn't, though, getting results. He hadn't heard of They Ask You Answer, but he was producing content. And he came to me and he said, Marcus, why are we not seeing any growth? And I said, Steve, I can see why you're not seeing any growth. You're not talking about what buyers actually care about. If you'll start talking about what they care about and stop focusing on what you think is important, everything will change. So he embraced this philosophy of They Ask You Answer, maybe better than anyone has ever done. Now, the first thing he did is he said to his entire sales team, you're now a part of marketing. So here's a screenshot of what you'd see if you went to their learning center, and different individuals in the amount of content each has produced that's gone on the company website. Again, you don't want to leave this as an option. Everybody is a participant. But he didn't stop there. He started producing some of the gutsiest content you've ever seen. And I mean ever seen. Now, what do we mean by gutsy content? So I'm going to read to you here the second and the fourth paragraph. Now, would you just imagine for a second? You're looking to buy new kitchen appliances, and you want to work or you want to buy that which doesn't break down all the time. And Steve used to always get asked the question, so what is the least serviced kitchen appliance brand that you sell, right? So he would get that question all the time. So he finally said, you know what? People want to know. I'm going to address it. So check it out. Here's what he says. Second paragraph. One of the benefits of having a huge service department is data collection. We will be in approximately 130 to 150 homes today, fixing appliances, with a good portion being less than a year old and under warranty. That's 650 homes per week, at least, or roughly 34,000 calls yearly, not including homes with multiple calls. That's the math behind this post. It's sales generated versus warranty service calls within a year. Final paragraph, he says, so the question is, what are we fixing the least? Now, hopefully you're already starting to get why this is so dang gutsy. Because if he's willing to show you what he fixes the least of all these brands, you also learn what? Yeah, what he's fixing the most. And in this article, he goes on to say, check this out, this is crazy. He will show his least serviced kitchen appliance brand, who in this case was Whirlpool, and the percentage of service calls he had to run for each. And he also shows, yep, that's right, the most serviced kitchen appliance brand that he sells. Now, gutsy? Heck yeah, that's gutsy. How do you think the vendors reacted? I know that's what you're thinking, like, didn't they freak out? Like, KitchenAid was the last ranked. Do you have a KitchenAid, by the way, in your home? Hopefully it's not breaking down. So Steve told the vendors, if they did complain, he simply said, well, I guess that you'll have to produce a better product next year. Because he became the voice of kitchen appliances. He's the linchpin of that space. And because he's the linchpin, the vendors don't want to lose him because they realize his influence is so profound. That's the essence of thought leadership. That's also why he gets comments like this from people all over the world. Your objective appliance analysis and recommendations are incredibly valuable. Thank you so much for putting it out here for clueless homeowners like me to read. I'm on the West Coast, so I can't repay your generosity by giving my business. All I can give you is my heartfelt thanks. He gets comments like that from people all over the world, but the key phrase was objective, right? unbiased, just as we talked about today. And so what happened with them? Their traffic absolutely exploded, going from about 20, 30,000 visitors a month to today, they're getting almost on average 1 million visitors per month. And by the way, that article that I showed you about least serviced appliance brands, guess how many times that gets read a month right now from people around the world? Guess. Go ahead. 50,000 times a month. One piece of content. Yeah. So, that's what's possible. And because of that, what happened with this business? Well, he went from, in 2011, when he started the Ask Your Answer, $37 million a year, to over $120 million a year in 2018, spending less on advertising. In a time when retail is dying, he's adding stores. His margins, in a time period of Amazon slashing everybody's margins, his margins are going up. And if you look at the final numbers, since he started this, he's gotten over 135,000 contacts on his website. In other words, people that have filled out forms, over 6,000 of them have become customers, but they all started with a piece of content. With somebody that was willing to address a question, with somebody that was willing to teach them something that nobody else in the industry was probably willing to address. This is what's possible for all of us. That mindset that Steve has is the mindset that we now need to have. And as you do this, I promise you're going to create your own story that's going to get its own exceptional results. So as we close out this course on marketing in today's digital customer, hopefully you have been moved. You have just so many ideas that are, just flooding your mind right now. I wanted to finish with where we ended up with River Pools. Something personal that happened to me as well, and how it applies to all of us. As you heard, River Pools became the most trafficked swimming pool website in the world. Then we became the fastest growing builder of fiberglass pools. Then we started manufacturing fiberglass pools. Then we started having franchisees all over the country because we had so much momentum in the marketplace. I was throwing away all these leads and we had so much demand. So now we've got a River Pools of Nashville. We've got River Pools of Salt Lake City and River Pools popping up probably near you. But all these things started with a mindset of we're going to be the best teachers in the world. We're going to answer our customers' questions. One time I was at a conference in Dallas, Texas, and when I was done speaking, a reporter from a paper came up to me, and he said to me, "Marcus, this thing you did with River Pools, this is so interesting. I think I'd like to run a story on this." And I didn't think anything of it until we talked on the phone a few days later for 90 minutes. And then a few days after that, he sent a photographer to my swimming pool company. And then a few days after that appeared this article on the cover of the business section of the New York Times. You can see the title. It's pretty ironic. A revolutionary marketing strategy, answer customers' questions. My friends, I ask you, is there anything revolutionary about answering our customers or potential recruits' questions? It shouldn't be. In principle, it's not. But in practice, it definitely is. This became the #1 shared and emailed story for the business section of the New York Times over the next few days. And they reran it again that Saturday in the business blog section. And I got over 1,000 personal messages in the coming weeks and months. And almost all of them said one of two things. First thing they said, something I think you might have been saying as well. They said, "This thing you did with your pool company was so simple." Yeah. Nothing we have talked about herein is incredibly complex, is it? It's almost all common sense. But like they say, common sense is oftentimes very uncommon. And so we know that this would work. The question is, are we willing to do it so easy, so simple? Second thing that so many of these people that reached out to me said is, Marcus, I feel like you've given me permission to do that which I have always felt we should be doing. Well, you now have that permission. Yes, the essence of this is the golden rule. Do unto them, teach unto them, say unto them, as you yourself would want to be able to see or read or consume. If you are in that position, if you are the one looking for the job, if you are the one looking for the contractor, that's the goal. And if you can really think like that, it's so simple and so easy. And that strategy, my friends, is not going away. So that's our challenge. Obsess over our customers, what they're thinking, what they're asking, what they're searching. See ourselves as teachers. Become the Wikipedia of your space. If you do this, my promise is everything will change.